Abuja, the place where stories come alive as usual, ideas spark, and the moments that matter take center stage. I am Sadia Yakubu, and I'll be your host for the next few minutes. DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channels 276. You can also watch on YouTube using ABDULLAHI. On this segment of the program, we'll be talking about transport sector policy strategy for public-friendly fares. But firstly, let's have a little insight about the topic. A public-friendly fare policy is a strategy where government regulates or design transport pricing so that transport costs remains affordable and accessible for public, especially low-income groups, students, workers, and elderly. The strategy focuses on fair pricing, social equity, easy payment systems, encouraging public transport use. Affordable fares help people access jobs, education, healthcare, and other services, improve economic participation and social inclusion. As usual, I'll not be doing this alone. I have with me my guest, GARBA ABDULLAHI, who is a state officer budget at TRACKA. He's a seasoned social justice and youth activist with over a decade of dedicated experience in championing transformative initiatives that foster youth empowerment, education, and social equity in Nigeria. As a budget state officer, TRACKA, he monitors a public project ensuring transparency and accountability in the allocation and utilization. GARBA plays a pivotal role in advancing civic engagement and promoting good governance. His work focuses on ensuring that public resources are utilized effectively to address the needs of Nigerian communities, particularly those that are underserved and marginalized. Through his work with TRACKA, he monitors public projects, ensuring transparency and accountability in the allocation and utilization of government budgets, thereby empowering citizens to demand better services and infrastructure. Nice having you on the program.
Thank you so much for having me today.
So how is weekend and fasting?
It's fantastic.
All right, so let's get started. So with the current situation of hike in petroleum price now in Nigeria, do you think we can have public-friendly fare?
Yes. First of all, thank you so much for having me here. But we have to look at the system first. If one wants to respond to this kind of question, normally I look at the reality on ground and the government's policies that are trying to put in place to see that these kind of things happen. Well, before the coming of Mr. President, he announced that he will remove fuel subsidy, and people were very happy that fuel is not going to be cost again. But as of today, you see fuel has tripled off before, and this affects the public transportation greatly, and also the low-income people. The environment there. But to answer these questions, I would say it is never possible to achieve that policy in Nigeria as of today now, unless the government change their policy again in the future time.
All right, so what is meant by public-friendly fare in the transport sector?
Well, what is meant by that is a policy that we reduce the cost of transportations by the government, and also help the people, the low-income people at the society, to see that there is a sustainability and easing of the transport system for them, and also the citizens.
Okay, why are affordable fares important in the public transportation system?
You see, when we talk of this affordable fare, important, is because of the way people, I'm trying to break it down so that it sounds in the layman language forms. When we talk about this issue around us now, just look at as of just a few days ago, everywhere in FCT here and also some part of the country, the rate of transportations are not the same. Like somebody who just travel 1 kilometer, the cost of that 1 kilometer is going to be like, I'm just trying to get estimated value of it, like let me say 1,000 per 1 kilometer. You see, this kind of things does not help issue. But when you have policy and the cost of this issue that affect us, it's send a signal that, hey, this is going to be okay and the country is going to be good.
So let's list 3 objectives of a public-friendly fair policy.
One of the objectives I have is it help the elderly people to have friendly transportations in their system. It also help the people and in terms of reducing costs in everything that they are doing at the local level. It's encourage the public transportations in terms of sustainability and also make the public have trust in this transport system.
So talking about transport system, what is the fare subsidy and how does it help passengers?
Well, in Nigeria, we don't have a subsidy in the transportation system. That is why every policy or every price of transportations in the community is being driven by the market people or the taxi people in the society. Like in when I was coming, if you look at a taxi from here to maybe, let me just say, from here to Bega, maybe it was 200 before, but now it's triple, which is 400, 500. So it means that there is no subsidy, and this market price is being determined by those people who are running the system on it, because we don't have a regulatory motor or car or taxi of the government that will help to reduce this.
All right, so what's the meaning of fare capping in public transportation?
Fare capping is just a sustainable way of reducing costs to the people, especially the low income and students in the community.
So can you identify 2 groups that often benefit from reduced transport fare, that's if we have any?
Well, I just said now, students and elderly women, and also low income people who are living in the society.
All right. What's integrity ticketing in public transport system? What is the integrated ticketing in public transport system?
You see, the integrated, you say what?
Integrated ticketing.
Okay, integrated ticket systems. You see, we are not running that system in Nigeria. The only place that we see it is the western part of the country. But we Nigeria wanted to try to run that system ticketing in trains and also some metropolitan motor park, like from Abuja to Kaduna now. Before you can board a train, you have to have a ticket by paying, is either online and also maybe go to the ticket session to get your ticket. But the Nigerian system is you can only use that ticket once. But in other parts of the country, they may use it 1 or 2 times because of the sustainability of how their environment is. So we try to see that Nigeria should also emulate this kind of policy in that system.
All right. How can public-friendly fares encourage the use of public transportation?
Well, when we have a policies that the government put in place in that line, of course, everybody. In fact, if you look at the road now, in terms of road transportations, you'll be able to see that the rate of private car are more than the rate of public transportations are more than the private car, because most of the private people who are civil servants cannot afford to purchase or get fuel of high price, so they drop their car at home and enter the public transportations. So if this policy comes up, it's going to help in putting trust to citizens are going to put trust in terms of making sure they commit themselves into the systems and always making use of transportations at the taxi side.
So explain the concept of public-friendly fares in the transport sector.
You see, when we have a public friendly fare in transport sector, you notice that the rates at which people are traveling will be increased. Now, somebody will go to work from Monday to Friday, right? And that is then. And it is because people are having trust in the system, in the transportations. Everybody will just, okay, the transport is fair. I have to be at work every day. But now, if you look at it, it is not more friendly like before. So, in terms of maybe the civil servant now, there will be those, since the transportation is hike, people are not key into it in making transportations. Let us divide the day of you going to work. It affects people greatly. Now, maybe somebody is going to work 5 times in a day that time, but now you'll be going to work once in a week because of there's not friendly transportations that's going to help ease the system for citizens.
So discuss the importance of government policy strategies in maintaining affordable public transport fares.
You see, when you say the important, the first things we should look at is the way it's also help maybe in terms of economic hardships when the transport is sustainable, and also reduce some of these costs that citizens are having to spend in transportations. So a lot of sustainability is going to happen in transportation system. People are going to key into it. People are going to invest into it. Okay, look at it before, when the El-Rufai time was El-Rufai was the minister of FCT. There's something that they call Shopee, and the Shopee, they were using transportations to maybe from area 1 to Suleja, or maybe from area 1 to maybe Maraba, or maybe to Gogolada. They were paying low, very less, and that is when we're having some reductions and public capping in transportation system then. So it's help in regulation of transportation costs. It also help in making citizen key interest into that system. It also help when we talk fuel subsidy has a very great role to play in terms of public transport. Look at when I was coming, I read an article that when the people were protesting during the time of Adam Oshomole time, when he was the Labour Party, he was the NLC chairman, and that was because the fuel was 87 naira then, so things were high. Transportations was cost at that time to them, but that is when there was a subsidy in the fuel aspect. But look at the current situation of today. Mr. President said there is no subsidy, right, in the fuel. This thing is supposed to make another regulations in the transportation systems that will help these people, or that will help the citizens ease the way of transportation. When the fuel is high, transportation is going to be high. When the fuel is low, transportation is going to be very low. If you are selling fuel now 100 naira per liter, of course, a lot of people will be at the streets trying to invest into transportations. This shows that the fuel has a great role to play in terms of transportation in Nigeria.
But with the current situation now, the war between Iran and US now is affecting the oil production or company in Nigeria. But then how are we to deal with transport fare?
Well,
since last week, since the beginning of this crisis between Iran and US that has affected Nigeria, a lot of people in Abuja don't want to go out, but then the cost of transport fare is hindering them. And then for people like us that close very late from work, if you're going home, you pay double the price. Do you think government can come in and help?
Of course, government can come in at any level or any time to help, because this is something that affects the citizens. And the war between Iran and the US and other western part of the country should not really affect Nigeria like that. Because if you're talking of Nigeria have natural, almost 97% of natural resources that we have in the world. And this includes the crude oil and other important mineral resources that the world are using. If you are talking of reserve, it is because we don't have reserve of we don't have a way of managing the oil sectors or the crude oil sectors that is affecting us today. If you look at the trend, Nigeria has almost 3 or 2 refineries that they were working before. But as time goes on, we begin to see that Nigerian refineries are not working. We have in Ogara, we have in Warri, we have in Kaduna, right? Yeah. And these are places that they're supposed to refine crude oil and give us back to this the fuel, and the citizens should use it. But with times when we don't have a good leadership, the oil sectors crumble and damaged. So now we are now depending on outside the country to get the refined crude oil for ourselves, which is what we are supposed to do. So if Nigeria want the country to better, they are going to invest in that aspect. And also Nigeria can come up with another different policy. I think in 2-3 days, I think I read about something on the social media that the Mr. President have inaugurated a task force committee to check into the oil sectors to see how the petroleum is affecting the citizen. So we are still hoping that the Nigerian the Mr. President and other part of the leadership will look into these systems and make a sustainable solution for citizens, because citizens cannot afford to bear this for more than 2-3 months again. If this continues, people will not be able to go to work, just as you rightly say. People will not be able to do most of their activities that they are doing at the office because of the high increase in price of fuel that we have in the country today. And most of the focus is in Abuja and Lagos. So, and these are like economic and the workspace of citizens.
All right, so let's analyze the advantages and disadvantages of free, fair public transport policy.
Well, the advantage is that it's going to make you don't really have much disadvantage like that, because this is something. If you have free, fair transport policy, is going to really increase a lot of things in terms of transportation system. One of the advantages is going to make people is going to boost the economic of the country through transportation system. It's going to students and elderly people, they are going to find it very easy, and cost of transportation is going to be reduced. And also people who are doing businesses, we are going to enjoy the transportation system in that. If you are talking about the disadvantage, you don't really have, it's only the disadvantage should be that maybe it's not going to be sustainable. So if it's not sustainable, it's just going to be a great disadvantage for the citizens, and it's going to cause a lot of problem for the people, and it's going to affect people negatively.
So let's discuss how public-friendly fair strategies can improve social equity and mobility.
Well, when we're talking about social equity, it's something that have to be balanced. And when you have balancing society, and when you have balancing economic systems, you begin to see that citizens are no more complaining like that. A lot of things moving well. Maybe if you want to go to a place and do things now, your mindset will be, yes, this is affordable or this is doable, because of the balancing that they have in that transportation aspect.
So evaluate the challenges government face when implementing public-friendly fair policy.
Well, the challenges are the citizens may not be interested in that, may not be aware, or maybe the citizens may totally be distanced from this kind of things. When you are doing a policy should be something that the people will be able to know in general. And also the policy should be able to be something that is going to carry a general solution for the people who are going to benefit it. Even those who are making the policy tools are part of citizens who will benefit it. So if we have this kind of issue, and the policy to look at a way of capping this thing down, of course is a welcome something for citizens.
All right, so let's talk about the critical aspect of it. Should government subsidize public transportation fare for all citizens? Why or why not?
Should government
subsidize? Do you think governments should subsidize public transportation fares for all citizens? Why or why not?
If government subsidize, you see, it's going to create efficient transportation system for people, and that is why government should be able to do that. And I didn't see any reason why government should not subsidize the transportation system, because this is something that it affects everybody in the country. When there's a subsidy in the transportation system, you will not see or hear an outcry of any places or citizens complaining about the transportation system again. That is why the government should, at all costs, try as much as possible to put a policy in places to subsidize this issue, fuel subsidy, transportation aspect, so that the citizen will be able to key into it well.
So can public-friendly fare policies reduce traffic congestion in major cities? Explain.
When you are talking of reduce, you said policy.
Can public-friendly fares policy reduce traffic congestion in major cities?
Well, it will even increase it. You cannot when you have like now we have high cost of transportation, right? And they bring a policy that is going to reduce this high cost of transportation. It means that there will be congestions in the transportation system, not reducing it. Because you cannot say when the fuel is cheap, people should not travel. Unless places like Lagos now is going to triple. When you have as now, when things are cost, you go to Lagos, we begin to see transportation systems, or people are just having congestion on the road, trying to move, trying to find a way. It's not going to reduce it.
All right. So how can technology improve fare system and make them more public friendly?
When you talk of technology to reduce what?
Fare system and make them public friendly.
Is by just the way we are sitting here now to discuss about it. We tell the citizens, people who are living in an underserved community, that this is what is going on. By using technology to amplify the voices, getting the messages, using media platform, getting the messages of the transportation system to the citizen at the grassroots, especially underserved or marginalized communities. This will help greatly in terms of that.
So what are the risks if transport fares are too low for operators? What are the risks if transport fares are too low for operators?
If the transportation fare are too low?
For operators and the drivers.
Well, the people, there will be a lot of competition. And when you have competition, maybe accidents and other things will happen at the park, or maybe at the cost of travel. Everybody would like to say, okay, let me go first. Let me go and do this. Let me go and do this. There will be the disadvantage part is that there will be increase in accidents again, because people will now rush into the road and try to see that they will meet up, maybe because they have people now who are now waiting on them, going to take them to their various places.
But even with the current situation, we still have people running.
Not as even when I was coming. You see, when I was coming, I entered this taxi man from Lugbe coming to this place. So the man was speeding. I said, Oga, where are you going to? He said he wants to go and come back and pick people, because people are still lying down on the road going to Secretariat. I said, even if we go slow, the people will be there. People will be waiting for you. If you go there, if you are going to 60 people, you will still get them. So his own was that there were no car.
Yes, so he was trying
to
only drop the ones and
come back.
Then go back to pick.
So the thing is just is vice versa, and even if the transportation is low, there will still be increase. If it is still high, there will still be increase.
All right. So how can governments balance affordable fares and financial sustainability of transport system?
they should bring a very beautiful policy that will affect, that will just crumble the cost of transportation in this country.
Okay.
By putting subsidy in the transportation system.
Okay. So how do public-friendly fare policy affect public transport usage in developing countries?
Well, it helps. It's like in the United States now, when you have this now, just the way I rightly mentioned, the ticket you have, it help you relax. You will not be able to be struggling that I will not go out today, I will go out today, I will not go do this tomorrow. But when you have your ticket and you have low public when you have your ticket and you have low cost in transportations, you have a relaxed mind of not bothering yourself. You'll be going to work, you will be contributing, you contribute to the country in terms of making your own aspect.
So can you tell us more about TRACKA?
Okay, TRACKA is a service delivery arm of BUDGIT that BUDGIT is a non-governmental organizations that analyze the federal government budget and also give feedback to the citizen on it. So TRACKA is just the service delivery arm that track the government spending, go to the field, verify the project, give back to the feedback to the citizens.
So in the transport sector, what has this organization TRACKA done?
Well, what we do specifically we try to checkmate the roads that the federal government is constructing, especially the federal Ministry of Work road that they are constructing, Lagos Calabar Highway, Abuja Kaduna Zaria Highway, the Kefi Akwanga Makodi Highway, then Abuja Lokoja Highway. So these are transportation systems roads that we try to check so that it will be very easy for citizens to have smooth transportation. It will be very easy for citizens to have accident-free transportations in the system.
All right. Compare transport fare policies in two different countries.
Well, I mentioned one of the countries like United Kingdom. They are using tickets. If you have ticket, you can be able to use a ticket for 5 days, 6 days for your for traveling. So you see the system is different. When in Nigeria here, you can only have one-time tickets. The one-time ticket is go and pay. You pay 6,000, 7,000 when you're going to Kaduna, or maybe you go to Kano for your train. Then when you pay and board the train, that is all. Or maybe when you go to the Kano State Transportation Authority, or maybe Katsina State Transportation Authority Park now to go and get your ticket, you can only use it once. You are not using it double. If you are coming back, you have to pay another ticket again to get to your destination. So the difference is very clear. And this difference is what we are trying to see, that the government should bring a policy in the place to see how to change it.
All right. So what impact do transport fares subsidies have on economic development? Well, let me take that again. What impact do transport fare subsidies have on economic development?
Well, it have a great impact. Reduce it's make the people who are into businesses. It make them have a relaxed mind of doing more or open more, expanding their business in various states. Okay, let's assume someone is a farmer who wants to sell a series now. Like in FCTA, we farm most of the things in FCTA. So people used to come from far south, far north to come and purchase some of these things now. Now, when you have a low cost of transportations in this aspect, people will be say, let me go and purchase more of this in this place. And you begin to see that the economic of the country is moving because they are taking this in back to the factories or a refined place to go and transform it to different things to bring it back to the cities again to come and distribute it for consumption.
All right, so I want to sincerely appreciate you, GARBA ABDULLAHI, for being part of the program this morning, Global Morning, the weekend edition. Thank you for spending your time here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me here.
All right, we'll go on a short break and we'll come back. Of course, today is Mother's Day. If you have your mother close to you, have you wished her Happy Mother's Day. You have your wife with you. Have you wished her Happy Mother's Day? And for those of us that have lost our mothers, I'm talking about those of our friends or relatives that have lost their mothers, please include them in prayer. Don't go nowhere. We'll come back after this short break to talk about Mother's Day.